a lot. Okay, day 3. When sugar walls crumble. As soon as the people heard the sound of the trumpet, the people shouted a great shout, and the wall fell down flat. Joshua 6:20. Sugar is a stronghold for many people. Does it hold you back from the good life and the good God has planned for you? Perhaps over time, your sweet tooth has returned into a full-fledged addiction, dictating your days, driving you from one sugary fix to the next. Unfortunately, no sugar fix can fix you. In fact, when you give sugar that job, you'll end up more broken than before because sugar weakens our physical bodies and clouds our minds. If only you could break free from this sweet, strangling stronghold, but you feel powerless. The walls are too thick and too wide, the habits too ingrained, the enemy too big and too strong, and you are too addicted. However, all throughout the scriptures, God demonstrates that He has the power to open prison gates and set captives free. Today, I encourage you to shout God's victory over your life even before He helps you tear down the stronghold of sugar. Why? Because this is exactly what God instructed the Israelites to do as they marched around the strong walls of the city of Jericho. This massive stronghold was in their way, preventing them from entering God's promised land. For the walls to come tumbling down, God's people had to first shout the victory. In full obedience and faithful expectancy, they lifted up their voices to Him in praise. Do you know the story? Did you sing the song about Joshua and the Battle of Jericho? When you were young, do you know that the same power to bring down stronghold is available to you? We read in the book of Joshua chapters 5 and 6 that Joshua was taking Israel from the wilderness wandering into the promised land. But before they could take possession of God's good promises, they had to pass through Jericho. The city walls were high and well fortified, and the people of Israel felt hopeless. That's when a man with a drawn sword appeared to Joshua, saying he was the commander of the Lord's army. Joshua fell down in reverence of his feet. The warrior told him to remove his sandals, for he was standing on holy ground. And then the Lord spoke to Joshua, telling him exactly what he needed to do. For 6 days, all the mighty men of war were to march around the walls of Jericho one time. Behind them, the priests would follow, blowing on ram's horns. On the 7th day, however, they were to march around Jericho's walls 7 times, with the priests blowing their horns continually. After the 7th time around the stronghold, the Lord commanded all the people of Israel to shout triumphantly. Then, and only then, would the walls come tumbling down. What a thrilling story. If you've never read it for yourself, please take a moment to ingest it now. It is my hope that you see that Bible is so much more than a thrilling story. It's your story and mine. My fasting friend, just as the fortified city of Jericho was blocking the Israelites from entering the promised land, the stronghold of sugar may be holding you back from the abundant life God has planned for you. For that reason, I encourage you, amid your withdrawal symptoms and cravings, to give praise to the Lord because of what He's about to do. Shatter the stronghold sugar has on you and replace it with a sweet dependence on Him. The same God who set His people free from bondage in Egypt, the same God who parted the Red Sea and led them across the dry land, the same God who fed them in the wilderness and delivered them from their enemies and finally ushered them into the promised land, is alive and available today. Here are 5 takeaways from the crumbled walls of Jericho that can help you on your journey from slavery to freedom. Number 1, believe that this place is holy. Josh 5:15. If you want the Lord to do a deep soul work in you, slip off your shoes and place your soles of your feet on that holy ground. God is at work in you, and you get to march barefoot and believing through these 40 days. Plant your feet on the solid ground of faith. Number 2, ask Him to tell you His plans for you. Josh 3-7. God gave the Israelites specific instructions about how to take down the stronghold of Jericho. He will do the same for you if you ask Him for help with each challenge you face. This wasn't the only time God gave His people clear directives. He spoke to Esther as he fasted and prayed. He spoke to Daniel as he fasted and prayed. He spoke to King Jehoshaphat as he fasted and prayed. The details of each fast were different. The circumstances of each life were different. The questions were different, and God's answers were all uniquely different. God will give specific instructions that apply to your circumstances as you fast and pray. Ask Him what His plan is for you. Number 3, listen to the Lord, Josh 6:2. God is not a far off or silent being. He has given you His living and active word along with His living and breathing spirit to be in communication with His people. The same God who saves also speaks so silent. Allow the Lord, who spoke clearly and kindly to Joshua, to speak directly to your heart. Though this word is inspired for all, He whispers to individuals in a private and loving manner. In order to hear Him, you must get quiet and listen. God, what walls do you want to bring down? Listen. Ask, what does freedom in you look like? And listen. Is there anything else that you want me to fast from? And listen. How do I do this? And listen. When should I meet with you and pray each day? And listen. What's your plan for me as I fast? And listen. Okay, number 4 says obey, Josh 6:8. The old hymn says it best. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. Fasting requires obedience. An extended fast like this one will require extended obedience. It's easy to justify changing things up in a bit mid-fast in order to make it easier. I know from experience. However, when you stay committed to doing what God has told you to do, I'm talking following God's clear leading, not legalism. God is His supernatural power, enables you to bring down the strongholds in your life. Yes, even the stronghold of sugar. The people of Israel had to march for 7 days before they experienced deliverance. You have committed to 40 days. Keep marching in obedience. Number 5, shout the victory before the walls fall. Josh 6:20. This is your main charge today. Shout His praise, believe in what He will do before He even does it. The same God who has set captives free can set you free today. Believe Him and shout His victory over your dependence on sugar. God, you are strong and good and faithful. I'm shouting your praise before a single brick falls from the walls holding me back. You are able to set me free from all directions, to heal all hurts and get to the root of what's causing my sins and sadness. I can't stop praising you for what you already done in my life. I am confident that you will bring down the strongholds in these present struggles. Lord, you are able and you are God. I am blowing my horn and shouting your name. Amen.